You are more than what you say that you are. And I know that sounds cliche or cheesy and like what everyone says, but it's real. The funny thing is that so many people do not believe this for a second. And I won't lie to you, there's a lot of times in my life where I didn't either. Sometimes I still don't, and I have to catch myself in that. There are so many times in my life where I don't feel like I'm doing anything, that I'm just here existing, that I'm just living, that I don't really mean much to anyone, that I'm not living my life, I'm waiting to die. And I know that sounds really dark, but I know a lot of people get what I mean, where you don't feel like you're living your life to the fullest. You kind of feel like you're just surviving, working, until one day you don't have to. One day when we're 6 feet under, right? That's how I feel sometimes. I'm just waiting. You see, one thing about me, I don't get phone calls. I don't get text messages. I don't have anyone else. I don't think certain people understand how jealous I am of their feeling of value, if that makes sense. I'm trying to word that correctly. I've never felt what it's like where someone can't wait to speak to me. I've never felt what it's like to be needed, to be wanted. For once in my life, I want to feel chased. I want to hear someone blow my phone up. I want to hear my phone ringing. I want to feel pursued. I don't think some people realize how lucky they are to have that feeling. You know, after my last relationship, I reflected on how many times I called them, how many times I planned something with them, and how many times I went to see them. But when it was their turn to do things for me, it never happened. I remember thinking to myself, dang, like, I wish someone was scared to lose me, like I'm scared of losing them. I wish someone's eyes would light up when I walked in the room. I wish someone was excited to see me. So after that relationship, I ended up a shut-in. I didn't go out much anymore. I stopped texting people. I stopped trying to date. I stopped taking care of myself. You know what happened? I stopped everything and did an experiment, right? I disappeared. I stopped everything. I stopped hitting people up and checking on people. I wanted to see who was going to check in on me. And guess what? Only 2 people did. And those 2 people are who I'm friends with. That's what made me realize I wasn't as important to a lot of people that I thought I was. And that revelation, it hurt more than I can describe. It's a rock sitting on your chest that you can't move. It follows you everywhere you go once it's there. And it reminds you of its presence every now and then. Or, for some people like me, it reminds you every passing thought. When you see a couple hanging out together, that rock reminds you that you can't get a girlfriend. If you see people traveling, it reminds you that you can't do that you're not financially able to do that. This rock I'm referring to is what I like to call the inner critic. The negative and almost sarcastic voice in your head that rains on your parade every time you're feeling good. One thing that helped me, right? I was watching a TikTok, right? Because that's our generation. I was watching a TikTok that said, "Don't believe everything you think." And it didn't hit me hard at first, but I thought about it a day or two later. That TikTok video really said something to me that changed my life. Or, for the most part, changed the way I was thinking. If you hear noise in the background, that's my AC. Sorry about that, but it's loud, but also it's hot. So, you know the heat that we've been getting lately? It's gonna stay on, okay? Anyway, anyway, that video said, if you saw yourself as a child, sitting on your bed crying, would you speak to yourself the way you speak to yourself right now? And that really changed me, because if someone spoke to me the way I speak to myself, you would not be in my life. We'd probably be throwing hands, if I'm being honest with you. So why is it okay for me to do it? Why is it okay that I speak to myself this way? And I know this isn't some massive epiphany, but it genuinely made me think about my internal dialogue differently. How negative I am to myself all the freaking time. Would you want to hang out with someone who's always negative? I know we've all experienced someone like that before, and it's really, really exhausting. So, like, I'm dealing with that 24/7. Most of us are, and we're not changing it. So, now, this didn't just change my life instantly, like I just explained. I had some negative thoughts just a few hours ago writing the notes to this video. We will never be able to silence that voice in our heads, but with patience and hard work, we can change its tone. We can change its approach. We can change how that voice speaks in your mindset. So what I urge you to try and do today is something I've been trying to do, honestly, is to change how you word things in your head. And that means correcting yourself when it happens. Sometimes I talk to myself out loud because I'm correcting myself. This morning I looked in the mirror, and let me just tell you, I'm not a looker. So I looked in the mirror this morning, and the first thing in my head was negative. I immediately corrected myself out loud and said, no, we can fix this. If I'm not happy with my body, we can change it. We can fix it. I can eat better. I can start living better. I can be more conscious of what I'm eating and what I'm putting in my body, right? You can change how you think. So that's what's been helping me. We are all out here doing the best that we can. Life was never promised to be easy. We must work with the cards we were dealt. And I hate to be the one to say it, but we're all thinking it. Some of us were dealt some pretty shitty cards, and some of us were dealt better cards. We just have to work with what we have. And one thing that I always think about, and it's not about being this alpha male like douche, so please don't be that kind of person, but one thing that I've always thought about and that's always helped me is I was watching this video by Eric Thomas. He's like this motivational speaker on YouTube. And I'm usually not the alpha male dude who has to let's wake up at 5 in the morning and go run 8 miles. That's not me, bro. I'm the opposite of that. But he was speaking one time and he said gazelles are below lions in the food chain. Fish are below sharks. And insects are below spiders. But that doesn't mean you see a gazelle, a fish, or an insect give up on themselves and let themselves get eaten. The gazelle runs as fast as it can. An insect fights as hard as it can to get out of that web. A fish will swim as fast as it can to get away from that shark. Because no matter how small and insignificant an insect may be, they still understand that life is precious and valuable, and they know that it's worth fighting for. So what I have for you today is this. Your life is precious. You are unique. You, believe it or not, are 1 in 8 billion. I highly doubt there is someone out there who looks and acts identical to you, unless you have a twin. And even then, there's a lot of differences between twins. There is no one like you out there. Your life is worth living. Like I said, you're 1 in 8 billion. And something funny that I like to say and like bring up to people is that in high school, we try so hard to fit into a group, right? You got the jocks, the athletes, the cheerleaders, the popular kids, the emo kids, the nerds. We want so badly to fit in, and we are taught socially in high school that we need to fit in with a group and that we need a group of friends. We try so hard. But that is training our minds that we have to fit in with the rest of the world. And then once you graduate high school, you find out that the whole world is the opposite to what you think. Everything in high school was about fitting in socially. But guess who are the most successful people in the world? The people who use their uniqueness to their advantage. What is something about you that no one else has? Right? What is something about you that no one else has? So think about that for a second. Your biggest insecurity could be your key to breaking out of the cell that you have put yourself in. Dude, I'm spitting bars right now. Hold on a second. Let me get back to my thing. Believe it or not, I do actually have notes set up here, like bullet points to try and keep me on track, but sometimes I get off track. But anyway, your life is worth living. The cards you were dealt may have sucked, but as someone who comes from the same boat as you, who had sucky cards as well, I can promise you it gets better. My life and my situation has not changed, by the way. I'm not rich. I'm not wealthy. I am not exceptionally talented at literally anything. I am not really good at anything. I just know that I needed to hear what I've said today, and maybe someone out there needs to hear it too, so I felt like recording it, if that makes sense. I hope you have a great day. And for me, do it for me. Give it all you have to try and be a little nicer to yourself. Okay? Can you do that for me? Some random guy you just met on the internet, can you do that for me? Because I'm trying to do it for myself. And to be fair, I cannot tell you if it's working or not. My life was in shambles this morning, mentally, and I'm trying to pick up the pieces. So I just want to, the only reason I say that as well is because I'm not this guru who just had an epiphany. I'm not rich or wealthy. I am working at a warehouse that I hate, and I'm working the graveyard shift that I hate. I'm driving a car right now that has no AC in it, by the way, in the summer heat. But I'm trying. And that's what matters, is that I'm trying. What matters is that you're trying. Even when things don't work out the way that you want it to work out, you're trying. One thing about humans is our, oh no, I forgot the word. Persistence. There it is. We saved it. Our persistence, our determination. So fight for it. You are something. You're not a waste. You're not a complete misfire. You're not a dumpster fire. Your situation is a dumpster fire. And one thing I'll always bring back is that what that one dude said in a movie that I can't remember. I think Ice Cube was in it. It's a bad day, not a bad life. Right? We got this. So I'm going to stop talking now. I know that it's about 15 minutes. So I'm going to stop talking now. But do it for me. Be a little nicer. Train yourself to be a little nicer to yourself. Okay? You got this.